Hello, hello, hello. This is Gresh from the I Am CEO podcast. I have a very special guest on the show today. I have Mike Williams of the Growth Coach of Northern Virginia. Mike, it's great to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited, man. How you doing?
I'm doing phenomenal and happy you're here. And before we jumped into the interview, I want to read a little bit more about Mike so you can hear about some of those awesome things that he's doing. And Mike has been the owner and president of the Growth Coach of Northern Virginia since June of 2015, over 5 years. Mike provides strategic planning, business development, and sales training to business owners, corporations, executives, and sales teams. Mike's diverse background and experiences have make him uniquely qualified to work with businesses of all sizes to help them achieve and exceed their goals. Mike is a proven and highly effective in strategic planning, sales, process execution, resource management, and within various organizations. He has demonstrated expertise and positive results in organizations such as Coca-Cola over 20 years, Mobil Chemical Company, now Exxon Mobil, as well as the United States Army. Thank you for your service. And Mike has over 26 years of marketing, sales, and business management experience within Fortune 500 companies. He's a motivated leader known for building capabilities within an organization to achieve superior results. And Mike has been married to his wife, Tina, for over 35 years, currently lives in Fredericksburg, Virginia, and has two children, Aaron and Alexis Williams, organizational community support president of the Business Forum of Fairfax from October 2019 to 2020, and many other accolades that he does to support the community. So Mike, super excited to have you on the show. Are you ready to speak to the IMCO community?
Absolutely. I'm ready to kick it off. Let's do it, man.
Let's do it then. So to kind of kick everything off, I wanted to rewind the clock a little bit, hear a little bit more on how you got started, what I call your CEO story.
Yeah, well, I've been in business now since 2015, so really June, just in a month or so, it'll be 6 years in the business. I have always wanted to be a business owner, and I look back, I started off, I had a paper route. I sold sunflower seeds, I sold vegetable seeds and Christmas cards, all those different things, but I always had that entrepreneurial spirit. I went to college, went into the military, did ROTC, went into the military as a military officer, and really, I got into business the same reason why everybody else gets in the business. It's you want some flexibility of your own time, you want some flexibility financially, and you want to be your own boss. The funny thing about that, and I know you know this, is so when you become your own boss, you find out you don't have as much time as you thought you might have, because there's a lot to do and there's a lot of responsibility with being in charge of that. The financial piece will come, but you got to put a lot of work into it. You got to sow the seeds and do all of that. So it's a little bit more work. And then being your own boss, there's a lot of responsibility there, because guess what? Your boss knows all of your tricks when you're the boss. So there's a lot of work into that. So there's a little irony there, but having the opportunity to bring something to life that's yours, that you want to do, is something special. It takes a lot of work and a lot of effort. But, I went into the military and I spent 6 years in, and I thought, okay, I'm going to go into business. I'm going to learn about things. Somewhere down the road, I hope I might be able to get my own business. I had more fun than I thought I would have at Mobil Chemical and at Coca-Cola. So took a little longer, but then 2015, I decided it's time to jump out and do my own thing. And I'm glad I did. I'm enjoying the journey.
Yeah, absolutely. And definitely having, worked with you in the past, I'm glad you took the leap as well, too. And I love how, I think so many times we forget that along our life journey and especially our business journey, everything adds up to where we are. And so many times we forget about, whether it was the sunflower seeds or the paper route to the Coca-Cola Company and Exxon, all the great places add up into all that great work that you do now.
Yeah, I used to think that, boy, you can't keep a job. You're doing all these different things. I was a medical service officer, medical administration, but I was in all field units. But you've got that training, that leadership, the coaching piece of it. And then when I think about, Mobil Chemical Company, I was a production supervisor. So I was in charge of people running product lines, but then I became a plant training supervisor. So I'm training and I'm writing manuals and I'm certifying people. And then I went into sales, and from sales, all the different aspects of business, marketing and operations, all of those different things. And so I can look back and say, all right, well, all of those things, I honed skills that prepared me to be the best coach that I can be.
Yeah, absolutely. It all adds up and nothing. I say everything is by design at the end of the day. So it's great to kind of hear
Yeah.
that has been the case. And so I wanted to drill down a little bit more, hear a little bit more on how you work with your clients. Could you take us through a little bit more about that and what that looks like?
Yeah, so I own the growth coach in Northern Virginia, and coaching is a pretty broad thing. Some people can pin it down to, I'm an executive coach, I'm a sales coach. Um, I'm a business coach. I wear a lot of different hats, but I that's by design. I like doing that. So I can help businesses in a lot of different ways, and rather than try to get you to do all these different things, what I like to do is understand a business and understand what you're trying to do, and then work with you to get you to the level where you want to be, to get you to what you want out of your business. So, looking at the vision and the mission. So, with that, Gresham, it could be, I do sales training. So one day I might be working with a sales team and helping them build their sales strategy, their sales plan, and their selling process. Or I might be working with a corporate leadership team and we might be talking about overall business strategy. We might be talking about the culture of the business and really getting everybody moving in the same direction, with strategy, marketing, leadership, all of those different things. Or I could be doing a retreat seminar with a business, and we may be talking about DISC, we may be talking about time management. So there's a lot of ways that I could help either a solopreneur, whether or a sales team or a leadership team. You know that as a business owner, there are a lot of different components to business. And so it could be that I could be working with the overall annual plan. I could be working with the marketing strategy, marketing plan. I could be working with leadership. So there are a lot of different ways that I could help people. And so I like to listen and learn and understand, and then work with the client to help them make their vision and their mission come to life. So that's what I do. There's just a lot of different ways and a lot of different hats or balls that we're juggling that I could help you out with.
Yeah, that's absolutely huge, and I think it's, and I don't know if that's kind of part of like what I like to call your secret sauce, but I was envisioning of somebody like with a toolbox, and rather than saying this is the only tool I have, you have to use this, as somebody that's using and having more of a conversation, listening and saying, oh, I have this tool. It seems like it will fit directly with what you want to do, what will make
Absolutely.
the biggest impact, rather than just saying this is the only thing I have, so you have to use this or you can't.
Absolutely. Or I've got a whole tool bag and I just dump it out on the desk and I'm like, hey, gee, pick out a couple tools you like and I'll show you how to use those. Sometimes people don't know what they need. And so you want them to articulate to you what they want to do and how they want to do it. And then I can reach into my tool bag or utility belt and say, here's some things that I think might be able to help us, and we build that process or that program to get you where you need to be.
Yeah, and that's huge because I feel like you have that like collaboration, that teamwork to get to where you want to be. And I think
Yep,
as you said so well, sometimes you don't know what you don't know. So being able to kind of just
that's
see
it.
all the tools out there, it helps you to say, okay, I didn't even know that existed or they made that. So let me try to use that so that I can get to where I want to be.
I've talked with businesses where they specifically know what they want me to help them with. But after a couple conversations, we understand that that may or may not be part of it, but we need to add some things, or we need to look at something a different way through a different lens. And the biggest thing is to build out that roadmap to get you where you want to be. That's the most important thing. It's not important for me to take a program or activity and make it work for you. It's better for me to understand what you need. And even if I don't have it, I'll build it, or I'll get the growth coach to help me build a new program or activity. So I truly do want to make it something that's going to be useful and work for my client, whether they're a solopreneur or whether they're a corporation.
Yeah, that's absolutely huge, especially, during this transformational time. Obviously, there's been a lot of, changes and things to know that things can be, malleable enough to be fit directly with, the person or the individual corporation is absolutely huge. So would you consider that to be like your secret sauce, the thing you feel kind of sets you apart and makes you unique?
Um, I would say two things. That's one, that I truly do listen and learn and build that program, customize whatever we need for you. So that's important to me. I think the other thing is there are a lot of great coaches out there. But a lot of them may come from academia where they're saying, hey, I've taught business, now I'm coming out and I'm coaching, or I've been in the military, I'm coming out and I'm doing, I'm going to focus on leadership. I just feel like I've got a lot of experience in a lot of places, which is going to help me help you. You know, my undergraduate is in teacher education. So teaching is something that's a foundation. I went into the military. Leadership and training is a foundation of the military. As a manager and supervisor at Mobil Chemical, teaching, leading, developing people, training. So I've got that. And then they introduced me to sales. And then I got into sales at Coca-Cola. And so I think that my very background helps me. So I can help corporations and larger businesses. I know it takes a lot to move those needles, but I'm a solopreneur as well. I'm a small business owner, so I know what it takes to run a small business. So I think my versatility is the other piece of that sauce. So I think those two things are the important aspects of what I do and how I do it.
Yeah, absolutely love that word versatility. And it's so funny. I was reading a book called Range, and it talked about how much of a competitive advantage it is to have varied experiences because it allows you to be, more malleable, be more like water, be able to shift
Yeah,
and change and
yeah,
understand and talk with, many different people. So absolutely appreciate that. And so I wanted to switch gears a little bit. And I want to ask you for what I call a CEO hack. So this could be something from that tool bag we talked about before, or it
yeah.
could be like an app, a book, or a habit that you have, but it's something that makes you more effective and efficient.
CEO hack, that's a good one. I would say again, I'm giving you're asking me for one answer. I'm giving you multiple,
Go
but I
for it.
would say I would say two things. One would be if you're a CEO, you need to step back and look at the whole business. Sometimes we like to do things that we like, or we like to do things that we're good at, but you know that as a CEO, you're looking at marketing, sales, you're looking at leadership, you're looking at operations and execution, all of those different things, planning, and all of those things we may not like. But if you say you've got a great product and service and you want to put that out there to the community, you can't do that if you didn't pay your taxes. You can't do that if you're not doing the bookkeeping and all of those different things. And so I would say, one hack would be step away from the business from time to time and give yourself a couple of hours to look at the entire business and see what you're doing. What does that look like? That could be you're doing a SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats of the business for this year. You could look at your annual plan. You could look at your selling strategy or your sales. So step away from the business once a month, once a week, and look at the entire business, not just pieces and parts of it. So that would be one. The other thing that I think is huge is a priority list, and either ending your day or starting your day with a priority list. And so if you're not doing that, I don't know how you're getting all the important things done in your business. So those two things, give yourself that time. So schedule time with yourself to do the holistic part of the business, stepping away at 30,000 feet. And then the key, the priority list. Make that priority list every day. whether you do it on your phone, whether you write it down on a sheet of paper, however you want to do that. So those are the two things I would say.
Nice. I appreciate both of those hacks and just how important they are because, especially as leaders, we're always go, 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 that we don't take time to kind of look at the forest or even see if there's any trees there. We're just
Yep.
automatically going to that thing. And I think that right in alignment with that, part of that, taking space and creating space is understanding what are the things that are going to move the needle forward the most, or what are the things that are least important. And to be able to prioritize that on a regular basis is huge because we have the same amount of time, but it's not, I always say it's not the amount of time you have. Sometimes it's how you use it, how you leverage it. And it's huge to be able to do that.
Yeah, and people will say, "Well, Mike, I don't like numbers. I got this service that I want to provide. I'm really good at it. I enjoy it, but I don't like numbers." Well, the numbers are what are going to drive the business. So you do have to keep track of revenue, keep track of sales, do the right thing so that you can provide the service to your clients or your community and you can put that product out there. And that's the motivation. Get the product out there, support the community, do the things that you need to do. But there are going to be some things that we're not going to like. We still got to do that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And I always say, and I think it is right in line with finances, is that the processes, the systems will set you free that allow you to be able to serve
Absolutely.
on a bigger level. So if we ignore that, then we're not going to be able to serve. But if we take care of that, then that's going to allow us to not be as worried, concerned, and we're going to be able to serve on an even bigger and better level.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So I want to ask you now for what I call a CEO nugget. So this could be a word of wisdom or piece of advice. It might be something you would tell a client, or if you hopped into a time machine, you might tell your younger business self.
I would say, first off, if you're thinking about running a business, congratulations, that's fantastic. Everybody can't do that. It's probably going to be one of the tougher things you do in life, but if you have a passion for it and if you love it, then do it and don't give up on it. If you believe in it, don't give up on yourself. Just keep moving forward. None of us are going to be perfect at everything, and if we really think about it, it's the places where we made mistakes is where we got most of the learning done, and that's why they call it growing pains. So it's going to be one of the hardest things that you do. It's going to probably take longer than you think, but it's more than worthwhile if you really have a passion for it. So that's what I would say. With respect to CEOs, what comes to mind for me is more around like strategy, leadership, direction, dedication, pillars of the community. So I get excited when people talk about, running a business, but it's not for everybody. If you're just doing it to make money, there's a lot of ways in life to make money. I just think entrepreneurs are special. And, if you really believe in yourself, you believe in the business, the product, the service, plow forward, don't give up, don't give in, and just live and learn. Just continue to learn.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. I truly appreciate that, and I think especially when you do have that passion. Sometimes it's a passion that's the only thing that's in the engine, so to speak. So you have to have that through the difficult times, through the really high highs, but also the not so high lows that we kind of go through. But it's usually that passion to be able to kind of drive through and see that vision and that mission kind of come to fruition. So I absolutely appreciate that. And so you might have already touched on this, but I was going to ask you for the definition of what it means to be a CEO because we're hoping to have different quote unquote CEOs on the show. Is that what you touched on before? What being a CEO means to you?
A little bit. I would say leadership, strategically focused, being a responsible human being, supporting the community. I just think it's a lot more than just, getting a business running and being successful with a product. There's a lot of responsibility. If you have people working for you, um, you know, their success depends on your success. And like I said, passing that on, like being able to take a little bit of that success and pour it into the community, whether that means community service or whether that means you're sponsoring or supporting other things. I just love that about businesses, and most of our smaller businesses are really driving the community and really supporting the community at the level, at the level where we are, right at the grassroots level. So that's what it means to me. Um, and I think it's again, as a CEO, kind of just looking at the entire business and being proactive and thinking about where you're going with the business. So being more proactive than reactive.
Yeah, that's absolutely huge. I love how, both of those aspects. I was thinking of the word, stewardship was coming to mind. Like we have that
Yep.
responsibility and
Yep.
that stewardship, not just for the business, but for, the community and so many
Yep.
different aspects
That's
of
it.
that, that we can do and make that impact. But also like even within the business, it's also not in understanding things are not siloed and how they affect one another. So taking care of the business from that perspective too. So Mike, truly appreciate that definition and I appreciate your time even more. What I wanted to do is just pass you the mic, so to speak, just to see if
Okay.
there's anything additional that you can let our readers and listeners know. And of course, how best they can get a hold of you, find out about your show and all the awesome things that you're working on as well, too.
Yeah, for me, I'm the growth coach of Northern Virginia. And so on LinkedIn, it's the growth coach of Nova, Nova. I've got a Facebook page, the growth coach of Nova as well. I've got a Facebook group called Strategic Business Owner. So you can go into Facebook, click onto that. I do a Thursday talk segment. So, if businesses, it's very quick, you've done it. It's a couple minutes, and I love talking to business owners, understanding what they're doing and why they're doing it. But I also want to connect other business owners with other business owners. So that's a whole, another piece of the Thursday talk. And then on alternate weeks, I do tips. So if you connect with me on LinkedIn or Facebook, you'll get those videos. I love talking with businesses and learning about businesses and business owners. So if anybody's interested in having a conversation around their business and where they're going, I do free assessments as far as that goes. And hey, I'd love to talk to some of the folks you're talking with too, because I know you do some mastermind type stuff. So maybe we can, we can talk to. You can have me come in. I'd love to talk with some of your CEOs and business groups around time management and high performing teams and those kinds of things. So that's what I'm doing these days. Loving life, loving business, and just plowing forward, man.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, we'll definitely have the links and information in the show notes as well too, and definitely appreciate that plowing forward because I think the impact that you're making and all of the great things that you're doing is creating that domino effect that you see obviously in the businesses, the people within the business, but also the community and so many parts of it. So truly appreciate you for the the work that you do. Of course, the time that you took today and all the great value that you provided. So appreciate you so much again, and I hope you have a great rest of the day.
Well, Gresham, thanks for having me on the show, man. I'm glad to be here. You're doing some good stuff here. Hopefully people will take advantage of the opportunity to come on and talk with you, but I appreciate you making time for me. It's been a great experience and I've enjoyed it. Thank you.
Definitely, no problem.